So we have here 2 2/3 plus 8 3/4. And I encourage you to pause the video and see if you can compute what this is. So now let's work through this together. And there's a bunch of ways that you can tackle this. I'll do it in a couple of different ways. So one way that you might see is to just rewrite this expression. To just rewrite 2 2/3 plus 8 3/4 plus 8 3/4. And you might be saying, why would I rewrite it this way? Well, when you rewrite it this way, it's very clear that these are the fraction parts of the mixed numbers and these are the whole number parts of the mixed numbers, and maybe we can add them separately. But before we even start adding the fraction parts of the mixed numbers, we notice that we have different denominators here. We have a 3 and we have a 4. So it would be nice to find a common denominator. And we've seen multiple times in the past when you're adding fractions with unlike denominators, a good common denominator would be their least common multiple, the least common multiple of 3 and 4. Well, what's that going to be? Well, let's look at the multiples of 4. 4 is not perfectly divisible by 3. 8 is not perfectly divisible by 3. 12 is. In fact, 12 is 4 times 3. So I can rewrite both of these fraction parts with 12 as their denominator. So this is going to be equal to, this. Let me just write it this way. So I can rewrite it as 2 and something over 12. Now, what would be that something over 12? To go from 3 to 12 in the denominator, we multiply by 4. So we have to multiply the numerator by 4 as well. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2/3 is the same thing as 8/12. So 2 2/3 is the same thing as 2 and 8/12. And then we could do the same thing down here. 8 3/4 is going to be the same thing as 8 and something over 12. Well, to go from 4 to 12 in the denominator, you multiply by 3. So we have to multiply the numerator by 3 as well. 3 times 3 is 9. And now we can add. We can add. And what do we get? Well, we have 8/12 plus 9/12. That's going to be 17 12ths. Well, you might recognize 17 12ths. This is greater than or equal to 1. So we could actually, this is an improper fraction right over here. So we can actually rewrite this. We can rewrite this as a mixed number. Let me make it clear. 17 12ths. So do it right over here. 17 over 12 is the same thing as 1 and 5/12. How did I figure that out? 12 goes into 17 one time, and then I still have 5 left over. 17/12 is the same thing as 1 and 5/12. So what I could do is I could write the 5/12 part in the fraction part of our, or I guess the fractions place on our numbers, and then I can regroup the 1, put it in the whole number column. And now I can just add the 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 8 is 11. So we get 11 and 5/12. 11 and 5/12. Now there's other ways that we could have tackled this. What we could have done is gone from this place right over here, the 2 and 8/12 and the 8 and 9/12, and we could have converted these into improper fractions, then added those improper fractions. So we could have said that this is the same thing. Let me rewrite it as, let's see, 2 is the same thing as 24/12 plus 8 is going to be 32/12. So I could rewrite this top mixed number as 32 over 12, clearly an improper fraction. And I could rewrite this bottom mixed number as, let's see, 8 is how many 12ths? That's going to be 96/12 plus another 9/12 is 105/12. 105/12. If what I just did looks a little bit confusing, you should review the Khan Academy videos on converting mixed numbers to improper fractions or vice versa. But now I could think about adding these two. And what would I get? I would get 32/12 plus 105/12, which would be what? 137/12. And then if we wanted to rewrite this as a mixed number, we could say, okay, let's see, 12 will go into 137 11 times. So it goes 11 times. 11 times 12 is 132, so you would have 5 left over. So it's 11 and 5/12. So you could have done it either way. I think this one would, the way we did it the first time would have been a little bit easier because you didn't have to deal with these really big numbers like 137 and 105 and 32, and you just dealt with more straightforward numbers. You say, hey, look, 8/12 plus 9/12 is 17/12, which is the same thing as 1 and 5/12. And then you add 1 and 5/12 plus 2 plus 8 is going to give you 11 and 5/12.